Okay, so as you come to a comfortable seat, let's close your eyes and symbolically let the closure of your eyes kind of teach you that going inward and feeling a sense of dimming of the light is actually a really beautiful reprieve. So, of course, you can still feel light shining through your eyelids. It's not total darkness, but sense into the restfulness that closing your eyes gives you. Come into your breath. And whatever has been happening for you today, this morning, or if you slept well or didn't sleep well, whatever has been your energy, let's see if we can just notice it. There's nothing to change. Hopefully, your practice always makes you feel good and better. But for right now, there's nothing to change, only to observe. Can you give yourself a little more space through your spine? Is there a way for you to shape your body in this posture that gives you a greater capacity to breathe? That makes you feel a sense of ease, a little less efforting. Feel a sense of softness come over your eyes, relaxing. And as you bring your hands to your heart, can you just allow a sense of centering, balance to come from this simple mudra of your hands together? See if you can feel the pressure of your palms and your fingers evenly against each other. Can you feel the touching the midline and the centering that allows? And in this centered place, let's honor, this season of balance, that we have a balance of light and dark at this time of year, that we have a balance of, chillier nights and warmer days, and even this week, a balance of rain and sun. What are you seeking balance for in your life? Okay, release the hands and let's find our way onto our back. All right, as you stretch out and lengthen your body on the ground, let's enjoy the simplicity of just stretching your limbs out. Okay, so regardless of how you are feeling, whether you're achy or sore or very connected and free or feeling a little disorganized or disconnected, whatever your physical feeling is, let's see if we can just observe for a moment and experience a little bit of gratitude for just the simplicity of our body working enough to come onto our yoga mat today. All right, let's stretch our arms overhead and find some good reaching in the body. The right side, the left side. Let's enjoy some openness in your sides. Okay. See what it feels like to have a nice, beautiful stretch. All right, and then when you're ready, cross your right foot over your left foot. Okay, and then we're gonna stretch over to the right with our torso. So kind of inch your way over a little bit. Hook your feet so that you're anchored, and then stretch through the side of your body. Breathing deeply, kind of forming a little arc through your side. And then we'll gently inch our way back to neutral. Switch your feet and inch your way over to the other side. Stretch through your arm. Feel an awakening through the side of your hip, maybe. Feel an opening through your shoulders and your ribs, and just enjoy. And coming back to center. Let's bring our knees into our chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. And then hang on to the knees and let's circle, kind of rolling the knees in one direction, and just feel the swirl across your sacrum, letting ease come into your back. Okay, change the direction. And when you do, how many years have you done this in the beginning of your practice? And is it still less familiar on one pathway than the other? So just notice the etching of patterns in our body. Always allow yourself to take those paths less traveled as much as you can. And then let's open up the knees away from the middle and bring them back toward, and just enjoy what it feels like to move around in your hips. All right, put your right foot down, or left foot down, cross your right thigh over your left thigh, draw your knees into your chest. A little bit of rocking if you want, a little circling if you want, just kind of waking up that hip joint a little bit, stretching through your glutes. And then let's release and switch sides, left knee over right, left thigh over right. Draw the knees in and just enjoy a little stretching. And you can move, you can pulse, you can rock, whatever feels good in your body. And then release your legs, stretch open to a star on the ground, expanding. Let's roll around in your wrists and wiggle through your fingers too. And then draw your knees into your chest, open up your spine, release your head down, keep your right knee into your chest, stretch your left leg long on the ground, and let's move around in our ankles, wiggling your toes, feeling a sense of release through your skull, relaxing your head on the ground. All right, let's cross the right leg over to the left, a big open twist. Breathe deeply here and enjoy. Opening the chest a bit. And then coming back in, knee to your chest, pick up your head, snug ball there with one leg, and then we'll switch. Put your head down, left knee into your chest, right leg long, move your feet again. Anytime we're balancing on our feet, it's good to have your feet awake and alive and refreshed, kind of open and dexterous. Cross the left knee over to the right and twist open on this side, and just enjoy what it feels like to move around in your chest and shoulder. Maybe turn your head if that feels nice. And then stretch open to a star, expanding wide. Draw your knees in. And put your feet down. Now, in order to just kind of get our hips, our outer hip muscles, our glutes to be awake and alive for some of the balance work we're going to do, let's stretch to a star. Heels are out on the ground, and we're going to externally rotate our legs. So turn your legs out, toes turned out all the way from the hips, and then drag your heels on the ground, drag them up toward your pelvis. And then internally rotate, bring your knees toward each other and push your heels away. Heels stay on the ground the whole time. Keep this internal rotation. Drag your heels in. And then externally rotate, knees fall out. Drag your heels out. And just going back and forth a few times, dragging your heels in. And then knocking your knees toward each other, dragging your heels out.
And those, smaller little muscles in your hips will, like, sometimes when I do this, I even get a hip cramp from, those smaller TFL, your glute minimus. A lot of those smaller muscles are activated here. So let's just enjoy kind of finding our hips as you move. And then the next time you get out there into a star, just wobble your legs, roll kind of in and out. All right, now we're gonna do a single leg action. So stabilize on your mat. Feel a sense of grounding, a teeny bit of core. Your ribs are finding the ground, and we're gonna keep our right heel rooting into the earth. So the whole right leg is going to stay grounded in the earth, and we're gonna keep our left heel on the ground this whole time. Okay, so both heels stay down, toes pointing straight up toward the sky, and we're going to drag our left heel out away. So just abducting the whole leg and then drawing it back in. Almost like you're a pencil on a compass. Okay, so we're now switching, dragging the right heel out as far as you can go. I'm going to move my position because I'm getting stuck by my table. Okay. And then back to center, stabilizing your upper body, your core. The heel is gently dragging on the ground. Everything else is staying very stable. And we're just going back and forth. So the drag happens on the way out and the way in with the heel. Take some time if you need to pause in neutral for a moment. That's fine. And you feel your body stabilizing you as you go. And now, once you've completed both sides for this next round, pause for a moment. Let your whole body relax on the ground. Take your feet hip width apart or a little bit wider and wobble your legs again. So just turning on some smaller stabilizing forces in the body. Let's grab a block and put your feet on the ground. Put a block between your knees, and you can have it higher between your thighs, between your knees. Kind of choose anywhere you want it to be and choose the width that you want it to be. We could do this with 3 different widths, but we're just going to choose one for today. Ground the 4 corners of your feet. Feel those roots as if you wanted to push into a bridge, and let's hover the hips. So the lowest bridge you got. So just a teeny bit of hovering of the pelvis off the ground. Hug the block and notice your feet. Can you ground all 4 corners of your feet evenly as you hover? And then release your pelvis back down. And we're going to just pulse in this way. So the most important thing to think about, besides, of course, making sure you're still breathing, is to ground all 4 corners of your feet as you do this. So you might feel some shifting of your hips or the shifting of your feet. See if you can keep grounded. And we're going to gently hug the block with a little bit of pressure. It doesn't have to be everything you've got, but activate hugging the block. And then we'll lift just the smallest bit off the ground and then release back down. Try to keep your spine fairly neutral. So we're not tucking the tail, we're not arching the back, we're just kind of in a neutral pelvis position as we lift and lower. So it's the smallest of bridges. Grounding the 4 corners of your feet, hugging the block, starting to feel a little activation in not only the inner thighs, but the pelvic floor and maybe the deep core and some of those rim muscles around your pelvis. You might feel the attachment of your hamstrings. You might feel your hip flexors a little bit. Just gonna notice what's turning on as you pulse up and pulse down, grounding the 4 corners of your feet and hugging the block. We're breathing as we go. All right, this last one we'll hold while we're up there. So just a slight little hover. If you put your hands on the ground underneath your buttocks, there would just be, a little space there. It's not a high lift. Ground the four corners of your feet. Notice if one leg is more present than another, if you have more strength on one side than the other. Activate your pelvic floor, hug that block gently, just turning things on. All right, and then lower your pelvis back down. Take the block out of there. Draw your knees to your chest. Let your hamstrings and your glutes release a little bit. Okay, a bit of rocking to and fro. All right, let's roll to our side and come up onto our hands and our knees. As you find all fours, see what it feels like to just sense into that awareness of the grounding of your hands and the grounding of your shins, feeling the earth. And let's start to move through some cat-cows, arching and rounding the spine, taking your time to feel some nourishment through your spine, letting your breath travel with you. If you kind of cut your breath short with some of those processes we just did, just notice the breath, let it refill your entire container. And then anything you want to do, you can wag your tail, you can move in your ribs, move your shoulders, just let your body go for a little walk. How's your breath? Doesn't it feel good to just move? Okay. All right. And then while you're here on all fours, let's go ahead and drop your hips over, as far over as they can go to one side without kind of losing that opposite knee's contact on the ground. Stretch open that outer hip a little bit. And then we'll go over to the other side, reaching that hip over, keeping the opposite knee in contact with the ground. All right, and then come back to center. Child's pose. As you settle your hips down toward the ground, relax your forehead. Close your eyes. Walk into that darkness again and just retreat into that sense of the self as a sanctuary. A full breath here in, a full breath here out. Walk the hands to one side so you feel that expansion through your side body. Relax your skull. Over to the other side and enjoy the wholeness, the sensation of wholeness from your hand to your hip. Connecting the length of that whole side body, the feeling of stretching your whole side body. And come back to center, up to all fours again. And let's find a twist, reaching one arm up in the air, drop the shoulder down, enjoy twisting the body. Breathing fully, always giving the spine each of its movement patterns every time you step onto your back. No matter what you're doing, make sure that you at least do one twist, one back bend, one forward bend, one side bend, so that your spine gets an opportunity to find all of its patterns. Reach that arm up in the air, hand down onto the ground. Let's switch sides, arm up, drop that, our shoulder down, twisting to the side. A full breath. And then inhale, reach that arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's find a dog pose. So as you come to this posture, maybe start by pedaling your feet a little bit so that we just feel our way into some openness in your legs. How's your breath? All right, and then anytime you're ready to discover a little bit of stillness, that's fine. But also, if you're still like just sensing the ground and feeling your body in this position with movement, that's fine too. Full breaths here. Alright, walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, forward fold. You can bend your knees as much as you need to, want to. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Open up through your spine, stretch your femur bones up and back, wide feet. And exhale and melt again. Soften your way here. One more time, a halfway lift. Lift open your sit bones, expand through your heart. Relax, melting to fold. Neck is soft and neutral. Push through your feet, rising up. Bring those arms to the sky. Feel that extension. Let's open up our heart cactus open. Breathing deep. Reach your arms back up in the air. And then a swan dive forward. Breathe well. Inhale for a halfway lift. Opening up the heart space. Exhale to melt. And fold again. Step back to a dog pose. The long spine here. Pedal your feet again if you'd like. Just find the wideness, broadness of your whole footbed. Big breath in. Big breath out. Come forward into a plank. Holding yourself steady. Shoulders away from the ears. Full imprint of your hands on the ground. Notice your shoulder blades and anchor them well. Breathing deeply. Full exhale. Let's lower ourselves down to the ground. Roll the shoulders. Keep those shoulder blades moving down the back. So notice them. Notice your shoulder blades rooting on the ribs. And then inhale for a cobra pose. Exhale. Release back down. One more time, enjoying the back bend. Relax to come down. This third time, let's hover the hands. Drop your elbows away from your shoulders. Feel that imprint of your shoulder blades firm on your back and slightly down and toward each other. And lift up. Don't go too far. Keep your neck neutral, but just feel the anchoring of your shoulder blades. Exhale and release. Come up on all fours and let's wag your tail or wiggle your spine or anything that you need to do to release from that back bend. Grab your block. You can have this the widest width or the middle width of the block, your choice. Put it between your shins. Ground again through a cat-cow, and let's feel the hugging of the block. Okay, so as you arch your back and lift your sit bones, gently release a little bit of the pressure on the block, and then as you round the spine, hug the block. Just a couple rounds of cat-cow, a slight release when you anterior tilt the pelvis, and a slight hugging when you posterior tilt the pelvis. Just feeling a little bit of wakefulness in the inner thighs, the pelvic floor. One more time, feeling that openness in the heart space, shoulder blades down, and a gentle hugging of the block as you round the spine. All right, release. Keep the block there. Lift up to a dog pose. See what it feels like to stay connected to that block. Ground through the big toe, all the way through the pinky toe. Mounds. Okay, so keep those foot mounds grounded. All four corners of your hands. Lengthen through your spine, breathing deeply. A gentle hugging of the block. All right, and then take the block out of there. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Find a halfway lift. Expand open through your body. And then melt again. Let's step the left foot back. Right foot stays in front for a lunge. Ground yourself, maybe your hands are up on blocks, and we'll start to bend and straighten the front knee. Breathing deeply as you move through these changing positions of your legs. All right, ground your feet, push off, rising up, crescent lunge. Feeling that extension, the open heart as you reach your heart to the sky, reach your hands to the sky, come off your hips a little bit, ground your legs. All right, we're going to try for a little balance in this position. So first, and you can keep your arms wherever it feels best balanced, look up. Just give that little test of balance. Maybe it's a big test of balance. And then come back to neutral. Okay, bring your arms out wide. Feel your edges, hands, feet, crown, tail. And then gently close your eyes. And when we take away the light, just notice, see if you can find your core, find the hugging to the midline with your legs, press into the earth. And then release your hands down, back foot comes forward, fold. It's amazing how much our vision is, we rely on our vision. Okay, come to a halfway lift, open up through the spine again. Exhale to melt and fold. Step your right foot back, left foot is in front now. Ground into your lunge. When you feel ready, let's move through some positions here where we're straightening and bending the front knee, enjoying just that opening and awakening in the body. Connect with your breathing. Now, if you know your balance is a little tricky, try taking your left foot an inch or two out to the left. So just a slightly wider stance when we come up into a crescent lunge can support your balance a little bit more. Reach the arms up. First, just enjoy the fact that you have all your faculties. You know, your eyes are here supporting you. Your legs can ground you. Reach upward. And then start a little bit extra challenge by looking up. Maybe your arms want to change position, and that's okay. And then come back to looking forward. Bring your arms out to the sides for a big broadness. Touch your awareness to your fingers, your feet, your crown, your tail. Root down, find deep roots with your legs, and then gently close your eyes. Can you feel your pelvic floor, your core, your legs, your glutes, everything supporting you? How's your breath? Okay, open your eyes, release your hands down to the ground, step back to a dog pose. Open up through your body, breathing deeply. Come forward into a plank. Shoulders away from the ears. Full breaths here. And then we'll lower our body down. Roll open into a cobra pose, elbows back. Exhale and relax to the ground. Take your hands underneath your forehead. Take your legs wider. And inhale, lift just your legs. Toes are pointing toward the ground. And then relax and melt to the floor. We'll repeat this with an external rotation. So you can curl your toes under to pick your legs up a little bit and roll onto the inner knees just a little bit more. So we're externally rotating all the way from our femur bones. Take a deep breath, lift just your legs. And just notice if your legs are very different from left to right, if you have stronger one side than the other. And then relax. Put your knees back to neutral. Pick up your feet and just windshield wiper your knees. Let your hips relax. All right, rest down for a moment. Turn your head, put your arms down, put your legs down, and just notice how close you are. Feel the ground underneath you. A deep level of support. Nothing to balance here, only grounding to feel. Turn your head the other way. Big breaths. And come up to all fours. Wiggle around in your spine a little bit. Maybe another cat cow, whatever feels right. We're going to come on to our right side. And you can always put a block under your head if you'd like, or use your arm. Bend both knees, and we're going to grab onto the top of our left ankle and stretch our left thigh. But so we're on our right side. Hopefully I said that earlier. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. So on your right side, grabbing your left ankle, okay, stretching into your quad. Breathing deeply here. Enjoying. You can draw your whole thigh back if you'd like. All right, and then find neutral. Keep your bottom leg straight now. So we're straightening everything. We're like a straight line on our mat. So if you can, if it's comfortable, straighten your arm that your head is resting on as well. Inhale, lift your left arm up in the air. Try closing your eyes just to give that extra bit of teaching inner awareness instead of outer orienting. Okay. Ground your right leg firmly into the ground. Remember those heel drags we did in the beginning? Find that kind of feeling, and then lift your left leg up in the air. Now, this is a great place to challenge your balance because we're very safe. We're here on the ground. So let your body feel both the groundedness and the need for stabilizing as we do this pose. Toes are pointing forward. Try to straight line your body. So we're like between two panes of glass here. Okay, and then release and relax. Let's roll to the other side. Okay. So as we come onto our left, first bend your knees, find a quad stretch. Okay. We'll take our right foot and draw it back toward our right buttocks, breathing deeply. Enjoy the simple stretching. Open up your shoulders, try not to roll toward the ground, but stack your shoulders, keep that shoulder blade grounded. Whole thigh back. All right, and then we'll straighten our legs. Stack yourself, arm overhead. Okay, everything's a straight line. Press your left leg into the ground. Let's first lift our arm up in the air. So we're rooting down to the ground. You might discover that side waist engaging. And then lift the leg in the air, right leg in the air, toes pointing forward. Stabilize through the core of your body. Find your pelvic floor, find your outer hips. Relax your neck. How's your breathing? All right, and then relax and melt. Roll over onto your belly, come up onto all fours, and find your way into a dog pose. The long, spacious spine here, grounding through your feet. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale, rising up. Trace down through the center of your body and pause. A breath in. A breath out. Maybe close your eyes. Turn into that inner space of finding darkness, but there's light on the inside. Awareness on the inside.
Okay, release your hands. Let's turn sideways on your mat. Take your feet wide. Let's come to a deep squat. So just open up your legs. Prepare for some standing poses. Okay, a little bit of rocking to and fro if you'd like. Ground down. All right, inhale. Come all the way up. Standing star. Find your breath. Turn your right foot out. Left foot can turn in a little bit. Parsvakonasana, elbow on your knee. Stretch open through your side. See what it might feel like to close your eyes in this pose. Open up through that whole side of your body. Stay deeply rooted with that right foot. Can you feel it all the way up into that hip? Draw your right toes toward the right heel, dragging to the left. So you wake up some of those outer hip muscles, stabilizing you. Finding breath. And inhale, come on up, and let's do the same pose, second side. Bend your knee, elbow on your knee, Parsvakonasana. Close your eyes if you can, so you just feel the inner space. Soften the base of your skull, let your shoulders drop down. Can you feel those shoulder blades? Root through your feet. Maybe drag your left foot, toes toward the left, heel toward the right. Wake up your hip. All right, and then we'll come all the way back up, wide legs. Turn your feet in, come to a slightly short, less wide stance, standing star. Ground yourself, close your eyes, know where you are in space. Feel from the inside. Come back to a neutral stance. Let's just prepare with a little one-legged standing. We'll root down through our right foot and we're going to tip over to the side with our left. You can stretch your arms out. You can keep your hands on your hips. Whatever feels good. Toes pointing forward. Wake up those outer hips. Use your core. Close your eyes. Maybe not. Okay, so just see where you're at. Foot comes back down onto the ground. Here, close your eyes. Palms to your heart. Find that samastitihi. Feel your midline. Breathing. Let your exhales root you. Oh, come on to our left foot and tip to the left. Right toes pointing forward. Arms can be on your hands can be on your hips, or your hands can be out, wherever you feel good. Stabilize. You can come out of this pose a little bit and just have a little bit of a lift. Just kind of find what works. Maybe soften your gaze. Maybe close your eyes half mast. Start to rely on what you're feeling inside your body instead of outside your body. And then relax and melt. Just enjoy the ease through your hips. You can give yourself a little wiggle if that feels good. A little bit of bouncing, never hurt anybody. Well, maybe it hurt somebody, I don't know, but if it feels good, have a little bounce. Feel your spine receive the ground. All right. Soften yourself here. Round your feet. We're going to do one more pose on the ground, then we're going to come back up. Inhale, reaching the arms. Exhale, floating forward. A halfway lift. Melt to come back down. Dog pose, long spine. Take your feet wide and turn your toes in. Let those outer hips relax a moment. And then we'll come forward into a plank. And put your knees right down onto the ground. Turn sideways here a little bit. So for today,
when we do Vasisthasana, have your hand, your knee, and both feet lining up on one plane. If you need a little balance support, take your hand and bring it to the outside a little bit, so just coming off that line with your hand. Drop your shoulder blades down your back, lift that arm in the air. Pause here, press your shin into the ground, and you get to decide. Maybe you stay right here, maybe try closing your eyes. Maybe you open your eyes and you try lifting your leg. Maybe you just lift your heel off the ground and your big toe stays on the ground. Feel the shoulder blades ground down. So it doesn't matter whether your foot lifts or not. Stabilize with your core. Feel the shoulder blades rooting. Press your shin into the ground. All right, and then we'll release and find a child's pose. Let your hips relax. And so there's always layers of challenge, and you can just find yourself where you're at today. Okay. All right, we're gonna come to the second side. So if you need a little balance support, remember that hand can go further out. Okay, that can be your hack for a little extra balance. See if you can line up hand, knee, and both feet on the same plane. So your legs like this instead of like this. That shin, instead of being perpendicular, is now parallel. Okay, find your breath. Inhale. Lift your arm in the air, shoulder blades down your back. Press your shin into the ground. There's a lot of work in this hip. And obviously, I forgot to mention, if your hand needs to be a little higher, you can always put your hand on a block as well. And then if you can, lift your leg in the air, open up here. Don't worry about where you should be, just be where you are. Press your shin into the ground, stabilize your shoulder blades, use your core. Active leg in the air. And then relax, and we'll come to a child's pose. Soften and surrender to the ground. Feel how nice it is to be so close to the earth. All right, we're going to put that together when we come up to stand. So you can move through a dog pose if you'd like. You can just find your way up, however you prefer being in the pose. And first we'll practice. We have two poses to do. We're going to do a tree pose and then an Ardha Chandrasana. So you can do your tree pose with your toes still on the ground. You can do your tree pose with your foot high or anywhere along the way. For today, I'm going to put my toes on the ground just so I can sense the rotation in my hip well and have a little support for balance. But maybe you're doing a deeper pose than me today. So just kind of find where you want to be. And let's concentrating on, so our right leg is rooting. The hip is in, the thigh is back, the knee is unlocked. The left knee, try to open it up. Instead of having it forward, open it up to whatever level you can without tipping the pelvis with it. Okay, you can hold something if you need. We can reach our arms up in the air. You can take your hands wide, relax your neck. You can bring your hands together, finding breath. All right, and then relax to come out of that pose. Now, whether you have help with balance, like toes are still on the ground or hand is touching something, we're working into balance regardless of how deep we go. We're all kind of entering the room of balance. So be in a place where you are challenging yourself, but there's still ease. You're not stressed. You're not holding your breath. You have a sense of concentration without it being a burrowing of intensity. And most of all, we're letting go of the attachment of success in a pose. It doesn't matter whether you can balance or not, is not the thing here. It's the work toward, it's the processing of balance that really supports our well-being on all these levels. So center yourself, turn your leg out, ground your standing left leg.
Breathing deeply. When you're in the pose, you can take any position with your arms that you would like. Soften your gaze, focus your attention. Let the balance poses be a gathering of attention, a gathering of focus and balance. Never sacrifice your breath for a pose. And then relax and come out of the posture. All right, so you can give one leg a shake at a time. You can do another hopping, another bouncing, another jiggling, whatever feels right to you. And then we'll all be in Tadasana for a moment and take your feet hip width, whatever's comfortable for you. Stand at ease, but with self-supporting. So we're not, kind of flomping into the pose, but we're grounding 2 feet, unlocking your knees, feeling your breath, feeling your posture, stacking your body over itself. So we're not leaning forward or pushing our pelvis forward or hipping over to the side. Find your breath. Let's not go anywhere without the breath. All right, we'll grab a block for this next pose, last of the challenging standing poses, and then we'll get on the ground and relax. Okay, so turn your right foot. We'll start with the right. Turn your right foot out. I have a short space here, so in order to face you, I have to be in between my furniture. So I'm narrow in my beginning. You can start much wider if you'd like. Okay, we're going to pay attention to the right foot and make sure it's pointing straight, okay, toward the short edge of our mat. You can start the pose just here, or if you want to come into a triangle pose or a Parsva Konasana first, you can. As we come into Ardha Chandrasana, remember that simple hack for balance. Instead of having the block in line with your foot, take it out to the pinky toe side of your foot a little bit more. Now, once you come into the pose, notice if you've arched your back, draw your ribs in, lengthen your tail and press it toward your heel. Real active with your foot in the air. The whole leg is lifting. Pay attention to your standing foot. Unlock your knee. Maybe you can open your chest. Maybe you can look forward instead of down. Maybe you can look up instead of forward. Finding breath. Okay. And then a giant step back out of the pose. Kind of assess, how did that make you feel in your body? How did it make you feel in your ego, in your breath, in your mind? Remember, we're detaching from the results of our efforts. It doesn't matter if you have a beautiful, perfect, balanced posture. That's not what it's about. It's the process. Okay, so don't worry about the end result. Focus on all the moving parts. Okay, the most important moving part is your breath. Left foot turns out. Keep that foot pointing straight toward the short edge of your mat. Try not to turn it in as you lift up. Take the block under your hand at whatever height it is, a little bit out to the pinky toe side if you need a little extra help with your balance. Drop your shoulders away from the ears, finding your breath. Unlock your standing knee. Try not to, press the knee straight, but have a little softness in it. Open across your chest. Keep lifting that leg, active through your core. All right, and then we'll come out of the pose the same way we came back in. Last time we'll just come to a Tadasana. And just notice if all the preparation we did of using those stabilizing muscles of your pelvic floor and hips and core, if they've given you some support in these poses. Feel it now in just the simplicity of standing. Full breaths, letting your body breathe. Feeling that unlocked feeling of your knees? Can you feel the ground? Give your weight deeply into the earth. Grow deep roots. This sense of steadfastness. Can we hold true to this, not just in our balance in our body, but in our mind as well? Can we hold steadfast through change, through adapting? Reach your arms up, bring that inner light, shine it bright, and then exhale and float forward. Halfway lift. And let's come right down to a child's pose. Let your back open up, let your hips soften, breathing deeply. Feel how close you are to the ground. Enjoy that. And then come on to your back and let's stretch your hips. Lots of work you just did. So take your right thigh over your left thigh, draw your knees in. Relax your head on the ground. Nice and easy. Breathe into those hips. You can kind of transition this into a different position if you want to move a little toward a reverse pigeon. Feel free to be still, feel free to move, kind of find the perfect spot of that right hip stretching for you. And relax that. And we'll change sides. Cross the left thigh over the right, draw the knees in. And just see what it feels like. Maybe you're still, maybe you have a little bit of movement in there. Just kind of find your sweet spot of stretching. You can transition this a little more toward a reverse pigeon if you'd like. Just kind of find what your body needs right now. And then put your feet on the ground. Let's shift our hips right, bring these up, drop left. Now you can keep into this twist we usually do, or if you want to stretch the outer hip a little bit more from the work we've done, you can straighten the top leg. Knees stay together, hold your big toe or the back of your calf somewhere. Twisting open. All right, back to center. Let's shift the hips to the left, drop the knees to the right, twisting open here. And then let's see, if you want to, you can straighten the top leg, grab your toe or grab behind your leg. Knees stay together. And as you find Shavasana, feel free to have your body a little wider. You can take your legs a little wider, your arms a little wider, or a more traditional Shavasana, whatever feels good to you. As you begin to rest your body, if there's any support you need, take it. If you need to change the lights so that they're not in your face, maybe you can grab something to put over your eyes. Enjoy kind of welcoming in the darkness. Give your body weight to the ground. Melt all your bones.
Begin to deepen our breathing. Start to move in any way that serves you. Coming onto your side and bringing yourself up to a comfortable position. And as you come to sit, just notice if you feel a deeper sense of grounding. If you have any sensing of a deeper level of um, focus or attention, are you less scattered? Can you harvest your practice? Can you harvest all this nourishment? And as you bring your hands together, bring it inward. Let's offer this energy when we work toward centering ourselves, grounding ourselves. We have gifts to share from this energy. So offer it. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.